So what a customs broker does, we've gone a little bit in depth into the process, but if you're new to this and you really don't understand what exactly it is a customs broker does or why you need a customs broker, let's talk about that a little bit. So the long short of it is the broker is the party who works with the importers to make sure that the goods that they're bringing into the country are done so correctly and legally. Legally is really, really important, obviously, between the fact that CBP is increasing exams and things like that due just to make sure that people are not misrepresenting their products in order to dodge additional tariffs, or just making sure that people are doing it correctly and are educated. It's not necessarily always malicious when things are done incorrectly, and a customs broker's job is to help the importer with that. So we communicate with the importer, we gather documentation, we work with you on classification, we confirm how it needs to clear, who needs to clear it, depending on how you've got the shipment set up. It could be your forwarder and your broker are the same party. Sometimes your broker is a totally separate party because you're only responsible for finding a broker. It could vary. So you want to make sure that you have clear understanding of who is responsible for what. On top of communicating with the importer, obviously, as a broker who's clearing things into the United States, we're going to communicate with CBP. This could be anywhere from dealing with them on a customs exam. CBP will sometimes request copies of documents to make sure that what we are reporting on our entry matches up with those documents say. And also sometimes there's just a problem that, something goes awry or customs isn't seeing something on their side that we've transmitted on our side, and we just have to call them and work that out. We work very closely with CBP on a daily basis to make sure that everything is moving smoothly. Another party that's involved is what's called a participating government agency. You heard me refer to those as PGAs a little bit earlier. These are things like FDA, USDA, ATF. There's a bunch of these, and basically what these are is other government agencies that also have a vested interest in making sure what's coming into the country is done correctly. Customs and Border Protection protects the borders of the country in terms of making sure that duties and taxes are collected and that there's nothing that could come in that could harm the country. FDA, USDA, and ATF do the same thing, but from a different perspective. So obviously FDA, Food and Drug Administration, they're worried about food products. They're worried about medical devices. They're worried about things that could affect consumers from a health standpoint. USDA is the same. If you're bringing in animal feed or if you're bringing in medicated things for animals, USDA has a lot to do with animals and plants. So what we do with them is we provide backup documentation when they request it, whether it's an export permit, an import permit, what's called a phytosanitary certificate. Sometimes they'll have their own exams, so we work with them very closely as well. And then one of the final parties that we work with is forwarders, CFSs, ports, things like that. Basically, the final destination of the freight before it actually gets to the door of whoever it's delivering to. So if we're dealing with forwarders, usually they're sending us an arrival notice and we're making sure that all the fees are paid. If we're working with a CFS, which stands for Container Freight Station, that's where LCL, less than container load cargo, goes. In order to make sure that they release it, we've got to pay them fees. We've got to send them proof that we've cleared this through customs, and we've got to send them payment or send them confirmation that all of the fees that we have to pay have been paid. Same goes with ports. The port has to see that the cargo is cleared before they'll release it. So there's a lot of back and forth on that, and that's really just kind of that's going to depend on how you've got it set up, whether it's the forwarder or the broker that deals with those. But Scarborough definitely deals with those on a daily basis, and we are happy to answer any questions about those because depending on the shipment type, what is required can change pretty greatly.